Good evening and welcome to my study. My name is Ron. I am your host, and it is my pleasure to share a daily devotional with you. For the simple reason that it's good to stay in the Word. Tonight's Bible reading is not for the faint of heart. It is all about a seafarer's nightmare and definitely requires the tenacity of an eagle, not a sheep. So let's get after it. This reading tonight is from chapter 27 of the book of Acts. It's the second last chapter in Acts. And Paul was having a dispute with the Jewish leaders in Jerusalem, and he had requested to have his case heard by Caesar, which was in Rome. So he got to take a boat ride to go to Rome. Let's get into it here as the storm is starting to build. When a light wind began blowing from the south, the sailors thought they could make it. So they pulled up anchor and sailed close to the shore of Crete. But the weather changed abruptly, and a wind of typhoon strength, called a nor'easter, burst across the island and blew us out to sea. The sailors couldn't turn the ship into the wind, so they gave up and let it run before the gale. We sailed along the sheltered side of a small island named Caudia, where with great difficulty we hoisted aboard the lifeboat being towed behind us. Then the sailors bound ropes around the hull of the ship to strengthen it. They were afraid of being driven across to the sandbars of Syrtis off the African coast. So they lowered the sea anchor to slow the ship and were driven before the wind. Okay, that's a nasty storm. The next day, as gale force winds continued to batter the ship, the crew began throwing the cargo overboard. The following day, they even took some of the ship's gear and threw it overboard. The terrible storm raged for many days, blotting out the sun and the stars until, at last, all hope was gone. I cannot picture being out on the ocean in any size of boat when you have typhoon strength winds blowing. I just can't. But let's read on a bit further. Okay, the following day, terrible storm raged for many days. All hope was gone. Okay, there we are. No one had eaten for a long time. Finally, Paul called the crew together and said, "Men, you should have listened to me in the first place and not left Crete. You would have avoided all this damage and loss. But take courage. None of you will lose your lives, even though the ship will go down. For last night an angel of God, to whom I belong and to whom I serve, stood beside me and said, 'Don't be afraid, Paul, for you will surely stand trial before Caesar. What's more, God, in his goodness, has granted safety to everyone sailing with you. So take courage, for I believe God. It will be just as he said, but we will be shipwrecked on an island.'" his courage and fortitude and faith. Super, super strong. I don't have, don't even have words to describe what that would take. Yeah. There is something to meditate on, though. And if you care to read the rest of the story of the shipwreck and him getting to Rome, uh, the happy ending story. You all have a great night. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. The verse for this week is still Philippians 4, verse 6. Don't worry about anything. Pray about everything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He has done. Amen. Good night.